Welcome, everybody. I'm Ann Shallak. I apologize for interrupting you, but we have such a terrific program today that it's actually worth it to interrupt your conversation briefly. I'm the director of our Women in the Law program, and I have had the immense honor of teaching at the school almost 30 years now. And I have the even greater pleasure of introducing our dean, Claudio Grossman, who's taught at the law school since just a few years before me. He is the Geraldson Scholar of International and Humanitarian Law, and he has chaired several times the United Nations Committee Against Torture, where he has done terrific work. And his work there has built upon so profoundly the work that he did at the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights. And among his many accomplishments there, from the perspective of this lunch in particular, is that he ensured that gender, the serious treatment of gender, was part of a human rights agenda. And that has been a foundational commitment of his life, to have a broad, expansive, inclusionary view of the meaning of human rights and the potential of lawyers to change and forge and create a view of the issues that are most important to us. My relationship with Claudio was formed in this early period, before he was dean, before I was a fancy professor and running a program. And he came and started our International Legal Studies program with 2 students. And I came and started our Women in the Law program with fewer than 2 students. And we conspired, saying human rights and gender should not be separate, distinct domains of intellectual inquiry, of advocacy in the world, of people coming together, and from those early moments have grown enormous connections between our programs in the law school, other programs in the law school, and have ensured that concerns about inequality, exclusion, of gender, but of gender broadly understood, of gender not as a uniform quality, but of people situated in different ways in the world, facing different conditions of inequality, facing different obstacles in their lives. And our Dean, Claudio Grossman, has been one of the most outstanding advocates for overcoming those problems, both in the law school and in the world. So let's welcome him.
Thank you, Anne, for this tremendous exaggeration and presenting me. The truth is that I will be recognized for the passage of time, 30 years in the law school by the university. Anne is 25, but the 25 years do not show, my 30 years do not show wisdom. And if I repent on something, is the fact that I have not listened more to Ann Shallak on many things that are important and valuable for legal education and the law school. But we'll catch up as much as we can. I will tell you that her leadership and in the clinic legal education, and she was just completed the period as in the executive committee of the Association of American Law Schools, and that's the leadership in education in the profession. Make her a leader of our profession and teaching. There are many things here: education, gender, strategic vision, and so forth. I remember when, you see, I became the rapporteur on the women's rights of the Organization of American States. I think I've been the only male who has been a rapporteur on women's rights. When we started, these type of things, the idea was to put all the women under the rapportship of women's rights. So the males would not do that. But I had been elected in the Inter-American Commission, and then I went to my home, and there are 7 commissioners, and my 2 daughters asked me how many women were elected in the commission. I was very proud that I was elected in the commission, 35 countries. And I said none, and they said resign. It's not possible to have a commission on rights without women. So I went back and I proposed the creation of the rapportship, and we did work, and of course, again, my name appears on this, and the name of people like Ann doesn't appear, but I remember we went to Costa Rica, at that time the site of the court, and organized the reports on issues like domestic violence that led to the adoption of a convention against domestic violence. There are 1 out of every 4 women are the object of domestic violence in the North and the South, and the cost is tremendous. Repetition of patterns of violence, health costs, brutality. There cannot be, if people are safe in their home, it's very difficult to have dictatorship. The societal costs, I mean, it's enough to save. Also, there were issues in the region like the following. Adultery, a crime that can be committed only by women. So you ask yourself, with whom? If men they are like an accessory. I mean. So in the distribution of property, family law, custody, I mean, the whole thing. I mean, rape was a crime of honor against the family, not the women. So we have achieved a lot, and again, people like Anna contributed to that and continue to contribute a lot. And if we learn something is on this, to try to listen more and to see how we can continue this. Because now we have achieved a situation in many countries where we have equality before the law, but not in practice. In accordance with ILO, women get less than 70% of the salary that men get for the same job. And that's not talking about the most outrageous things. And you wonder sometimes how far have we gone, even in domestic violence. But again, this is an invitation to continue to do this, and our law school, created by women, played and will continue to play a crucial role in imagining and bringing to reality a world not only where there is no discrimination, but where people can develop themselves to the limit of their potential. Well, this event is one of the many ways in which we celebrate the contribution of outstanding women to a legal profession and support the next generation of women leaders. As a law school created by women, this is a very important issue. And again, it's very easy to be supporting change retroactively. Once torture doesn't exist, everyone says, we shouldn't have had torture. When discrimination doesn't exist, everyone says, I thought about this and that. But the key thing is prospectively to contribute to a world without discrimination. And our founding mothers did that. They created an educational institution for the purpose of giving access to women and men to an education that will allow them to develop to a limit of their potential. And they faced persecution. I mean, one of our founding mothers was in jail for a while because of suffrage. Can you imagine? No right to vote. I mean, at that moment, people were portrayed as crazy radicals because they wanted this. And then they lay a foundation and role models that really inspire us. And then again, our program in Women and the Law that Anne chairs has resulted in Women and the Law and Domestic Violence Clinics, the Women and the Law program, 2 LLM specialization in gender and the law, people that come to study with us and from all over the world and go back to their countries and promote gender-based interpretation on the legal system. So the tasks are immense. But we do what we can, and we will continue to try to do even more. And then this is a tremendous accomplishment and recognition of Anne's leadership and the Women and the Law program. Earlier this year, on International Women's Day, our War Crimes Research Office and the Women in the Law program launched the new Gender Jurisprudence, an international criminal law project website, the centerpiece of which is the Gender Jurisprudence Collection. You know, women are the object of a special object of war. You know, the rape I mean, in societies, in this case, women are weaker. I mean, they are the price of war. So the incidence of rape and persecution on women is higher than what happens certainly with male. And the powerful database will contribute as we contribute in law school. We present the phenomena, we argue them, and we educate people and train people to engage the communities where they live for the purpose of doing a better work, achieving a better situation. The data contains over 26,000 judgments, decisions, and orders issued by international criminal courts and tribunals and involving issues of sexual and gender-based violence. Practitioners, judges, and advocates alike will all benefit from this incredible source. That doesn't exist something. It's a tremendous, makes a tremendous and important difference. Our publication allows us to multiply what we do. And very important publication, the Journal of Gender, Social Policy, and the Law, that really allows people to have access to information that is unique on the promotion of gender equality. Our extensive curriculum, I think, is the top in the country on courses and seminars on gender, cultural difference, human rights seminar, women, crime and law seminar, reproductive rights and the law seminar, women and conflict seminar, just to mention a few. I think that if you want to study gender issues, the place to come is our law school. Many of you here today have made significant contributions to our institution, including service as mentors, lecturers, educators for our students. I mean, you are role models for our students, and that plays a very important role for them. I mean, when our students see lawyers, men and women, in this case lawyers, they say, I want to be like you. They listen. They listen at your experiences, and you have, from that perspective, a unique role and really to help people that are getting younger every day and are there to follow in your footsteps and go even beyond. And so as alums of the law school, we look at you with tremendous gratitude and also with the expectation of your continuous involvement. We have here also all of you are welcome here, and we're pleased to see you. But I wanted to mention those of you who are the prior winners of the Women and the Law Leadership Awards. Please stand up when I call your name. We have Corinne Parver, class of 1982. She's the last year award recipient. Corinne founded the Health Law and Policy Project in our Law and Government program. Leah Alexandra Basha, class of 1995, is a 2011 recipient. Leah Alexandra is a partner at Holland & Knight, where she handles the tax section, national and international, and teach people how to behave well and at the same time promoting rational decision making. And she's a very important member of the Dean's Advisory Council. So we thank you, and thank you for your generosity always to the law school. Her daughter also is an alum of the law school. There are no yet grandchildren, it's too soon, young people, but I'm sure that will come in due course. I mean, Penny Wakefield, class of 79, is the 2007. Penny is a member of the executive board of the Center for Human Rights at the American Bar Association, a very important voice in this field. Always attending, going to events of the law school, inspiring us with her commitment with these important values, and she's also a member of the Dean's Advisory Council. Thank you for your work, Penny. Pamela Diz, class of 1983, 2008 recipient. Pamela is a partner at Aaron Fox, a distinguished lawyer in the city with tremendous professional achievements and recognitions in her profession, and very important, a powerful and important voice in the Board of Trustees of American University, and we're pleased that you are there, Pamela. I also want to mention today Mary Canard, which is the legal counsel of the university, and we are happy to know that Mary is in that position, always providing good advice, not only to a law school, but to everyone else. Well, I invite you to continue enjoying the lunch, and when we finish this course, we are going to be so happy and honored to have this year's recipient. To add to the excitement, we had to go through some security issues. I mean, it seems that things exist when they are broken. If they are easy, we don't notice it. But I welcome again our recipient today, Judy Smith, and we're going to go further after we have the second course. We'll talk then. Thank you. I would like to say that we have with us Tracy Mundy Jenkins, which is Dean in charge of OCPD, Billy Joe Kaufman, Associate Dean for the Library. We have Sherry Weaver, Director of Manuel Brooks Sandoval, Associate of our Office of Admission, and I also wanted to mention that this is the first meeting of Ruth Swanson, which is our new Dean for Development. And we welcome Ruth in our community. She's very devoted and dedicated to our collective enterprise. I hope all of you enjoy lunch. And now the reason we are all here today. It is my pleasure to say a few words about another exceptional leader within our community, Ms. Judy Smith, the recipient of the 2013 Women and the Law Leadership Award. You can read in the materials of today the tremendous and unique accomplishment of Judy Smith. It's difficult to find someone with experience, both national and international experience, that she has. She's the founder and president of Smith & Company, a leading strategic and crisis communication firm that has handled matters as challenging as those involving General Petraeus, the 1991 Gulf War, former D.C. Mayor Marion Barry, and the NFL quarterback Michael Biggs, of many others. That would be enough to know that we are in the presence of a unique individual, and also to put things in proportions. We all know that these are trying times in the sense of many issues. I mean, involving, for example, the restructuring of the labor market, times that also offer opportunity. And when we read the resume of Ms. Smith, we know that we're going to have good advice when it is necessary. Her clients also include distinguished corporations, over the 500 Fortune, include corporations in the Fortune 500 list, and she provides strategic advice on a wide range of issues facing a corporation. She also, in the international realm, her resume also involved advice to executives of major international or foreign corporations in countries that both within this hemisphere, Haiti, and in Africa, Zimbabwe, and in Asia, the Philippines. She brought to her current position a tremendous experience in the corporate world, in the area of communications. She was the senior vice president of NBC. She was a special assistant and deputy secretary to President George H. Bush. and she was an assistant U.S. attorney and special counsel to the U.S. Attorney of D.C. She has managed to make time to become an author and inspire a television drama. Her book is entitled Good Self, Bad Self, and the TV drama inspired by her pioneering and incredible career, Scandal, is a huge hit. The name is tempting, of course, and it's well selected. It is hard to imagine a career more interesting, more exciting, and that put her in the center of the hurricane many times, and requires strong nerves and strong determination and a sense of direction. We're proud that one of her most important achievements is that she's a graduate of our law school, class of 1986. So, without further delay, I want to invite you to the podium. Please take a moment.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Let me get the important stuff out of the way first. How many watch the show? All right. So let me just say I did not sleep with the president. That includes any president. Bush, Carter, Clinton, just in case there are any sort of follow-up questions. Let's see. Huck. Do we love Huck? Yes. So, as the dean said, I worked really hard for this law school bar license. And we don't usually encourage our investigators to beat people to death to get information out. So, in our work, we don't usually move dead bodies out of crime scenes either. So I thought I'd let you guys know all of that. But thank you, so much for supporting me and for watching the show. My career has been mainly, I think, one that really tries to focus on, stepping out of your comfort zone. And quite frankly, how the show came about was I just had written a book. And someone said that, your career might be useful or helpful and be great for a TV show. And I didn't know anything about TV. I'm like most of you probably. I know I'm a total news junkie. And so when my book agent said, well, I'm going to set up meetings with Shonda Rhimes and Jerry Bruckheimer, and I said, who's this Bruckheimer guy? No clue, didn't know him. John Wells I knew because I love The West Wing. And so all of that was a total surprise. I mean, what was supposed to be a 15-minute meeting, like all of you ladies here probably do this. When you set up a meeting, you tell the assistant, bring in a note, 15 minutes, buzz me with an important call. So Shonda had told her assistant that. And the assistant, very nice, came in with a nice little note. I'm sorry to bother you. The head of the network is on. She's like, get out, get out, get out. And what ended up as a 15-minute meeting, I was there for an hour and a half and really just talking about the work that I do. And really, that's how the show came about. And we worked on the show behind the scenes for about a year and a half. And no one knew about it. We just worked hard on it. And really how I got to the point of what I do and how I do it was through the combination of my law degree and communications. Actually, the law school, I don't know if too many people know this, but I went to GW to get a paralegal degree. And then the reason why I did that is because someone told me that I argued well. I, of course, took that as a compliment. They said you should try law school. And so I wanted to put my little toe in the water to see if I liked it and came to American University. And so what I do as a crisis manager is we work with corporations, associations, and individuals. And, it is usually when it's really bad that someone calls. I someday hope and pray that I'll get more calls when people say, I think something might be happening, crisis might be brewing, and I get that call and I can make a nice strategic plan and it's good. But that usually never happens. People sort of call me not when you're on the plane and the ride gets a little bumpy, it's when the plane is going down and they need help. And so that's when we usually call. And you know, we work with all sorts of clients. It could be a corporation that is in the middle of a discrimination lawsuit, or CEO who's about to lose their job, or a celebrity who's about to, you know, lose a contract because they've done something on the set. I mean, it's a whole host of things. We've worked with nonprofit organizations who might have, you know, financial issues. So it's a broad range, and for me, it's been a very good mix of the law and of communications. A lot of the, in particular, high-profile cases that we are involved in, whether it's, and this is public, Senator Jesse Jackson, or just recently the CIA Petraeus scandal, there's always legal issues that are a backdrop of that. And so the law degree has been tremendously helpful. I remember when I got a call from Marlon Fitzwater, who was President Bush's deputy press secretary. And actually, true story, I hung up on the man 3 times because I thought it was a joke. I thought somebody was playing a joke on me, and he said, "Don't hang up, this is really Marlon Fitzwater." And so I talked to him and I said, "So I just want to be clear, there's a lot of Judy Smiths. You could be confused." I said, "I haven't given any money to anybody. I don't know anybody in the White House. I just want to make sure that you have the right person." And when Marla and I talked about me coming on board at the White House, one of the things that he said, which to this day I don't know how he could have said that, is, "I think you're going to be bored working at the White House because of all the things that that you've done." And I said, "No, I'm not going to be bored, and I hope to use some of my skill sets." And one of those skill sets that I think have been really important is the ability to be able to think on your feet and the ability to be able to speak in that way, because going into court, having used the law degree, dealing with witnesses and judges, when I was at the White House and there are 100 or so mean reporters all raising their hands complaining about what the president hasn't done, it is those same type of really communication skills that I learned through the law. So that has been extremely helpful, and I think it's also helped as well in dealing with attorneys. A lot of our work that we get are from law firms, and the attorneys that I'm working with, whether it's a general counsel or an outside firm, there really is sort of a sense of, okay, she gets it, right? We don't have to explain too much to her. She understands how important it is to have a communication strategy that really makes sense, and it sort of dovetails on the legal strategy. So the law degree has been a big asset, and so grateful for it. I am going to stop talking because someone whispered in my ear that someone here might have a few questions about anything. Does anybody have any questions, maybe? Yes?
How did you make the transition from law to communications?
Yeah, I would like to say it was some big strategic plan, but honestly, that'd be a lie. It was totally by coincidence. My first job out of law school, I was supposed to work at this firm called Rogers & Wells in New York. And this is actually a true story. I was having lunch with a buddy of mine who worked at the Iran-Contra investigation. That was my first job out of law school. And I was so excited because, we can all remember back, I had gotten my big sign-in bonus from the law firm. I picked out the apartment in New York. I was ready to go. And so that was my last week there. So my buddy said, "Why don't you come down for lunch?" So, I'm thinking I'm carefree, so I come down. I remember this because I was coordinated. I had a yellow 69 convertible Volkswagen, had the top down, had my yellow tennis shoes on to match the car, and went down to have lunch with her. So I'm in her office having lunch, and you know, most of us in here are not shy women, and so she was the human resource director. So some of the attorneys come in, and she introduces me, and she says, "Hi, you know, this is Judy Smith. She does, you know, PR, but she also does law." And so the attorney said, "What do you think?" And I said, "Well, if you want to know the truth, I think you guys are looking pretty bad in the press, and it kind of sucks, and this is what I think you ought to do." So by the end of the day, right, 2 or 3 more attorneys came in. 2 days later, I am sitting in Judge Walsh's office because he called up. Now, right then, I was freaking out because he said, "I want to offer you a job." I said, "Sir, I'm not looking for a job. I got a job at Rogers & Wells. I spent the sign-in bonus. I can't come." And he said, Bill's firm?" I said, "Well, who the heck is Bill?" You know, I was a summer associate among, 100 or so. And he said, "I'm just going to call Bill." And I said, "Oh, God. So he picks up the phone. I am sitting there in the office. He said, "Bill, I have this woman named Judy Smith, and she says that she's working for your firm." And he said, "Scandals don't happen that often in Washington, and I need her. You can get anybody. I need her." And I'm just sitting there as, you know, clearly I'm being bartered back and forth. And he said, "Bill wants to talk to you." "Sir, I'm so sorry. I wasn't looking for a job. He made me come in here, and, you know, I still want to stay at the firm, and I spent the money, the signing bonus, and I had my apartment." And he said, "Calm down." He said, "I think you should take the job." He said, "You can combine all that you've learned in law." And he said, "And I can tell that you're good at handling problems, because this could have potentially been a problem." And I said, "Well, what am I going to do about my apartment?" He said, "What's your address?" I said, 416. He said, "Sally, check out 416. They represent them." He said, "I'll send you your check back for your deposit. We'll hold your job open for you. You work for him, and you call me if you need anything." That was a 20-minute conversation that completely changed my life. And so that was really the beginning. And at the Iran-Contra investigation, my title was special counsel and I think, you know, communications director. And so it was that combination of law and also speaking to the press, because I knew what I could say and what I couldn't say. And so they, you know, they felt very comfortable with that. Yeah, long answer, sorry.
No, that's a great story. Thank you for sharing. Well, it illustrates what Mary and I were talking about
Yeah.
earlier, the fortuitous nature of career paths.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, no, you never know. I mean, I would like to sound extremely smart that mapped it out, 5-year plan. And no, didn't happen. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah. And then I'll come back to you. Yeah.
What would you find, I think looking at crisis management is the biggest mistake that somebody does when they go into a crisis? Is it denial? Is it the cover-up? Is it the lie?
Oh, you've given me so much to choose from right there. Oh my God. I mean, all of those above. I mean, you know, we always say in our work that the cover-up is far worse than the crime. I mean, look at, we were talking at the table, look at someone like Senator Edwards. You know, the truth, my mom used to always say this, you know, if I came in and clearly I wasn't over Sally's where I was supposed to be, I was up at the playground playing, she would always tell me that, "Judy, you should tell the truth because the truth is going to come out. It's either now or later." Oh my God, I say that to my clients all the time. And it is the truth. If Senator Edwards would have told the truth when that happened, so many things could have been avoided. So many things. But a lot of times it is very difficult, I think, for clients to admit that. We were talking about Wiener, who's now announced, you know, that he is going to run for mayor. Okay, now I just want to show her hands. Did anybody believe those were his pictures except for his mom? I mean, who believed that? Who believed that? You know, it's sort of that level of trying to sell something to the American public that people don't buy. Yeah. Oh, it's all of those issues: denial, fear. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Can you talk a little bit about your transition from sort starting from, and how you were getting clients and sort of build your practice to the point that we all know that.
Yeah. Well, actually, when I left the White House, my first client, believe it or not, I mean, big client, was Monica Lewinsky. And we represented Monica Lewinsky during the President Clinton situation. And how I got that client was an attorney that I worked with. So it really just, snowballed from there. I mean, with Monica, what was that? I don't know, 10, 15, maybe 20 years ago. I remember just on a daily basis, we were fielding close to 110 press calls every single day. I mean, it was just, it was crazy. And that was even before social media, quite frankly. And this is going to sound very corny, but it is very, very true, which is that how I have built my practice is really by focusing on the work. That is trying to do the best job I can do for each client. Because I will tell you, before the television show, I didn't have a website, I didn't have business cards, and 96% of our work was by referral. Anybody who hired us just knew who to call. So for me, and it was just the way, honestly, to be frank, the way that I was raised, that if you do good work, your work will speak for itself. And so I've really tried to follow that and, quite frankly, instill that in my kids. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
In Scandal, you are listed as the co-producer.
Yes,
so it's so cool every week to see your name as a co-producer. What does a co-producer do? What do you do?
Just kind of kick back. No. What a co-executive producer does is every week I get the scripts, and no, I can't tell you what the next episode will be. And I write notes on the scripts. And what I try to really do is focus on what the crisis is and how I would handle that crisis in real life. I don't focus on who's sleeping with whom, where somebody's having sex in the closet at 10 o'clock hour. I try not to focus on that. And then I give story ideas. And then sometimes Shonda will call and say, I'm thinking about something bad needs to happen to Hollis. He's so mean. Let's think of something that could happen to him. And so, I'll send, a few ideas and I'll do that. Or she'll call up and she'll say, I need some sort of crash that's awful. People are dying. And I said, oh, how about plane crash? Great. So we do a plane crash. And then I write how I would solve that plane crash and who I would represent and what the issues would be and how all that would come together. Yeah. And that's my, weekend job. Yes.
How do you keep your balance? You have so many things going on and a very stressful job. How do you hold it together?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like most of you, look, we are big multitaskers. And both of my kids now, one just graduated from USC, thank God. And then I have another one that is working on becoming a fireman. And I have always started out with the boundaries and things that are important to me. And it is my kids and my family come first. And you make it work. I remember, I'll tell you this story. I remember I was driving my son to his championship basketball game. And Cody must have been, I don't know, probably 10, maybe 9 or 10 then. And I was in a blue minivan, which I swore to God I would never drive. Never drive a minivan. And what happens, and it wasn't any minivan, it was that fancy one where the door is an automatic shut, not the one you actually pull. And so I was driving to his championship game, and I get a call, because we have confidentiality with our clients, I'll say it's Cosmo, the president of Cosmo called, and said, Judy, I need help. I'm in the middle of an attempted coup. And I'm like, Oh God, I said, all right, so is the palace secure? How many people are dead? We need to get something out on the wire. And my son, who clearly I did not raise as being shy either, he's sitting in the back seat, the parents' worst nightmare. Coup, you promised. You promised. No work today. It's the championship basketball game. And I said, son, I'm trying to quiet him down. And the president of Cosmos, who's going through a coup, said, who is that? I said, I am so sorry, Mr. President. That's my son. He said, let me talk to your son. And so I give him my son the phone, and he said, what's your name? He said, Cody. He said, Cody, I don't want to have a coup today either. He said, or a matter of fact, any other day. And so Cody said, well, how long are you going to need her? We're almost to the game. And he said, 15 minutes. And then Cody says, how long is 15 minutes? Is it long? I said, it's short. It's really short. And then Cody said, well, I don't know. And he said, well, what else you got? I'm thinking he's negotiating with the president in the middle of a coup. And so Cody said, well, can you, he negotiated candy. And the president said, yes, I'll FedEx candy to you. And Cody then says, will you take me to the FedEx to get the candy? Yes, give me back the phone. So I get back the phone and continue to drive to the game, deal with the crisis, and as any good mother would, Cody's in the game. I'm sitting on the bench. Yay, 2 points, great. He then gets benched. All right, what's going on? Did the statement go out on the wire? What's happening? It's just what we do. Do you know what I mean? But for me, the starting point is I am there for my kids. I remember being in Saudi Arabia and flying back for a parent-teachers meeting. I have never in my life missed a parent-teachers meeting. I don't care where I was. Never missed it. So just start with that. All right, and I'm going to stop talking because I'm getting the heave-ho. Okay.
It's a small token of appreciation for the next crisis if somebody doesn't behave.
Thank you.
And then congratulations.
Thank you.
We all admire your career.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, we got to do a photo? Photo op.
This is going to be in Scandal in a couple of